Hey YouTube, ChannelMST here, bringing you a deck profile. We're going to be going over Gravekeepers. This build got top 32 at the YCS in Chicago this past weekend. It was piloted by Tabman. He said that he was supposed to win a top 32 match, but he kind of messed up on game 3. So without further ado, let's get on to the deck list and then move on to the deck discussion. So to start off with, we got 1 Gravekeeper's Assailant, 3 Commandants, 2 Descendant, 2 Guard, 3 Recruiter, 3 Spy, and 1 Little Sengen over here. And then for the spells, we got 1 Book, 1 Darkhold, 2 Stel, 3 Necrovalley, 3 Pot of Duality, 2 Tributes. And then for the traps, we got 2 BTH, 2 Compulse, 3 Chain, 1 Mirror, 3 Solemn, 2 Starlight, and 2 Torrents. For the side, we have 2 Raikou, 1 Summonator, 1 Heavy, 3 MST, 2 Depriz, 1 Gozen, 2 Light Imprisoning, 3 Macro. And then for the extra, we have 1 Shining, 2 Startards, 1 Leviair, 1 Maestroke, 1 Leviathan, 1 Giga Brilliant, 1 Acid Golem, 1 Utopia, Utopia Ray, Roach, 10 Tempo, Zenmain, and 2 Zenmeisters. And that does it for the deck list. Moving on to the deck discussion. For the extra, the 2 Zenmeisters are really good in the deck because they help you reuse your Spy. And also, with so many XYZs in the format, they also allow you to flip back down your guard. And that sounds kind of bad to, because then your opponent knows you have a guard, but even if they know you have the guard, it's still really hard to play around. And then 1 Zenmain, a lot of these are just kind of, even the player said it, a lot of these are just fill-ins. Some of the good ones, though, are Roach for Dragon matchups, and then Utopia and Utopia Ray because you have a lot of 4s, and then 1 Maestroke as a new guy. And then we have 2 Startards for the Starlight Roads, and then 1 Shining to place on top of your extra deck to make your opponent think that you're running Hero Beat, which is actually a really good strategy because you run so many spell and traps in this deck that you could easily set a Spy and then set 3 back row, and then in turn so they'll think that you're running Hero Beat or Bubble Beat or something similar. That's actually really good to actually do that because the deck can easily be mistaken for Hero Beat. And then moving on to the side deck, we have 3 macros. This is good against Insectors, Dragons, and Darkworld. Basically, it hurts their deck more than it hurts our deck, so we can, play that, put that in there. And then 2 Light Imprisoning Mirrors for Dragons, and then 1 Gozen match for a lot of stuff, other than Insectors. This is actually, I would rather have, if I personally ran the deck, I'd probably put Rivalry of Warlords in, just because Gozen match hurts Rabbit, but it doesn't totally, paralyze them, because they can go Rabbit into Sabersaurus, and then Sabersaurus into, Zenmeister, for example. And where if you're doing Rivalry of Warlords, it stops them completely because I don't think they'd run any dinosaur exceeds Guava with Guava into Logi or Dalka because they're all fire. So there's another thing that doesn't get stopped by Gozen match. So that's why Rivalry of Warlords is a little bit better in that way against the Rabbit matchup. But other than that, they're about the same. So either way, it's pretty good. And then we have 2D Prison for just removal, and then MSTs and Heavy for your opponents, Shadow Imprisoning Mirrors, Skill Drains, Macrocosmos, whatever they're running, just to basically get rid of that. Also for their stuff, we have 2 Raikous, and then 1 Summonator. Raikou's good against, obviously Shadow Imprisoning because it's a light, not a dark, so it's good there. Also just good for overall spot removal of anything that they control. And then Summonator is a big defender, and another card to basically remove monsters. And then moving on to the main deck, we have a lot of traps. A lot of these are pretty basic. The Fiendish Chains are probably a little bit, 3 of them is a lot. And this is good for the Insector matchup. Also good just to kind of stall out because it can stop the attacks at least. And it's still, a really good card to have. And then the Bottomless is Run Over D Prison because of the new priority ruling, how they have removed the exception in priority. And then Compulse is also for that reason as well. It's just to balance things like Zen Mighty, Leviair, and so forth, because they can't call priority with those anymore, so this just bounces Exceeds without them getting their effect. It also bounces, Synchros and Fusions, and can also help to balance your guys too if they choose to Dark Hole or something, and also allows you to reuse your Spies and your Guards and that kind of stuff. So very good card in the deck, fits very well, and it's actually starting to become a staple in a lot of decks, along with 2 Bottomless. And then moving on to the spells, we have 2 Tributes, obvious to combo with the Necrovalley. With people citing a lot of Gemini Imps, not sure if this player would side this out game 2 or game 3. And then 3 Pot of Duality to help us dig, and then 3 Necrovalley for the obvious attack boost and graveyard control. And then 2 Stel, and staples are Dark Hole and Book Moon. For the monsters, we have 1 Sangan to basically search out anything, either directly or indirectly, because we can't search out Commanded directly, but we can search out indirectly by going Sangan into Recruiter and then Recruiter into Commanded. Other than that, the other monsters in the deck are pretty much staples. 2 Descendant has been seen before, so that's not too much there, and then 1 Assailant's not bad because we can search it out as well, so that's been seen before. The new thing is kind of the tech guards, because a lot of the format is built with a whole bunch of XYZs, so the guard is very good for just bouncing those guys a lot, and it's also good, against, synchros, fusions, so like the Hero Beat matchup, you can bounce the Shining, and you can also just bounce for Tempo Loss against the Hero Beat matchup, so overall, very good card there just to basically bounce stuff, and very high defense too. And because we have Stell, even if they attack and they just bounce the monster, they have a tempo loss, but then we can just use Stell to get it back, so we don't lose any card advantage ourselves from doing that, so it's very good that way as well. And if you want a further deck discussion for the deck, because I'm not really a pro at Gravekeepers, just check the link here, and it should start you off about halfway through the video, because he gives the deck list and he takes like 8 or 10 minutes to go through the deck list, so if you just look at the deck list here and then read his discussion about it, he talks about some of his matches, and about the strategy of the Gravekeepers, and what he thinks of some of the cards. And so that'll do it for the deck profile. ChannelMST signing off.